What's up, everyone? Dem Boys back. This is the much awaited, the promised. I've been talking since like Friday or Saturday about how I was going to give y'all another setup for the X-Drag Trail that like would basically, if I ran into anybody who could stop it, because I hadn't at the time, I had some ideas of what I might see to stop it, but I wanted to verify that in game and then test it. Well, we're there. We're ready. Thanks for waiting. Normally I drop stuff like this a lot quicker, but I spent some time on this one. It took me a while to find people who could stop it, really. So the first thing we're going to do, I was debating on giving y'all this in here or not, or making you go watch the other ones. But the first thing you'll notice, I have it on strong slot. Okay, that's important. So what you do is you go strong slot, and you're going to replace this receiver over here. So I replaced him already with Cobb. Now I know it shows Witten over here, but that's going to be Cooper over here. Alright, so strong slot, sub out the receiver that is over here for whatever receiver you want to use there, and just trust me, it will not be Witten. First thing to note, that's huge for this entire offense. If you want to understand all that, you're going to have to go check out my Meta Offense Explained video, so we're not here all day. X-Drag Trail. First thing to note, you need to run it so your trips that we create here is on the short side of the field. So if y'all remember, this was the original setup that I gave you. And that's, you know, more of like smoke zones, right? So if we see a zone, you know, everything's open. Like literally everything's open. Every route clears out the route on its side, but every clear out is also a route you would throw. Okay? What that means is you're not wasting any routes, right? So like if we wanted to run like a flag route last year, we would have had a go and a flag, right? The go clears out the flag. But you're not likely to throw the go, right? So you had a clear out route that wasn't doing you anything other than clearing out. The entire point of this play is that every route clears out a route by it, and every route is a route that you would want to throw. That makes sense. We're not wasting any routes. That's why this is so hard to cover, okay? And that's going to be stuff that I look for in my concepts going forward. It is very difficult to find. So it's definitely going to take me a little bit longer to find these things. But the effectiveness, I mean, it's common sense, right? We know why that would be effective. Duh. Okay. So, really why we're here is I have a couple new setups. So let's say you're still, you know, looking at cover 3 or cover 2, whatever, a zone of sorts. This would be the next setup. Excuse me. So the difference here is X is on a drag instead of a slant, and B is on a curl instead of a hitch. So again, just to change things up a little bit, you know, we want to keep our opponents as off balance as possible when you consider that we're really running one play. But really the only route that stays every time is A. So it's a very different, in theory, a different play every time we set it up differently. But the reason I did this, we're just going to watch B, and you'll see, you know, why I like this. The cloud flat or whatever gets pulled over by the drag, or cloud flat, hard flat, whatever, leaving that curl wide open. So just another way you can run this. But this is it. This is why we're here, okay? So this was the answer that someone came up with to stop me. So what he did was that this was his stock setup. So what he would do is he would use the McLeod here, the safety, and he would take away everything going to the left. So he would follow the drag, you know, and then as soon as my post would clear his mid-read, so as soon as cleared his 3-rec, he would jump back on A. You know, leaving me very little time to throw the drag if I, you know, maybe I'd get a yard or two. So let's just pretend that everything going to the left is covered. So we're just going to watch X and B, and you'll see the bind that he kind of put me in. so I can low point. Always low point hitches this year, all right? Do not high point your hitches this year. You will get intercepted. It never made sense logically, right? If you're throwing a hitch and it's tight coverage behind him, you want to get the ball down low. Makes sense. So this year when we're throwing our hitches and curls, we are low pointing. Okay, another thing that I want to point out in order to make sure that you are running this play in a way that's going to be most effective for you is if and hopefully we get it, but what I'm looking for here is trail man, where they're tight enough though to where throwing a gun could get deflected. So let's just kind of hope we get that look. Yeah. Kinda, not really what I was looking for. Typically it's on the slant, but just note that if they're in trail position and man coverage, you can loft it. And that is something that I've done a decent amount of to make the play work. Obviously I'm not getting the animation, I don't want to sit here all day. But if they are in trail position like that, just note you can try to loft and lead it, whatever, to get it over the top of them. But now for the moment we've all been waiting for. So how do we stop this, right? So someone's figured us out. How do we stop this? Well, I could obviously switch to a power O, because the two people that stopped it, they did this out of different formations, but it was the same exact concept, right? So now I could run the ball on them, easy enough, because I'm going to have all day, right, in the pocket if I am throwing. But this is the setup, guys. This is the setup. So this is what we do to turn these into one-play touchdowns. This is how we're going to get them. So again, that's our setup. We're going to pretend A and RB are both taken away by this guy. That's how we'll simulate that. All right. I think you already know what I'm getting at. So the reason I keep B on a drag in this setup is because I want the user to continue to chase left. I don't want the user anywhere near the right side of the screen, right? Because we want to get Pollard in for a one-play touchdown. Like I had mentioned, the more people adjust to this, the more they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. This is just more proof of that. Because now you've adjusted and stopped it, and instead of getting you for 3 to 15, 20 yards, it's a touchdown. Because we all know what real routes do to man. Fairly self-explanatory. So what's going to happen is you beat him out of zone. You run this and beat him out of zone. The second they get into man, like I said, man isn't the answer unless they do that setup. You just keep running it. Once they figured it out and they've stopped it, there you go. Now you give them the business. Give them the business with the wheel route. Of course, for whatever reason, the computer covered it up. We all know how effective wheel routes are against man, though. So, case in point, appreciate the time you guys took to check this one out. I always appreciate the support. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe. The big thing is subscribers. I'm on that road to 1,000. We've just started this movement, and we're well on our way. I keep busting my butt to give you all the best content possible. And to not lie, you know what I mean? To not lie. There's too much clickbait out there, even on YouTube. Oh man, one play touchdown every time, unguardable. Run this defensive play and no one can pass the ball on you ever again. It's just one play that's so awesome. Don't overlook us guys that aren't saying stupid crap like that. The only time I've said anything like that is like this play. And I've even given you guys so many different setups that it's not even the same play. Because there just isn't one setup that you can do that's the just win now setup, right? Every pro game that you ever saw would literally be a bunch of players using that one version of whatever this magical play is on offense and the magical play on defense, and it would come down to who had the ball last or who got what fluke or fumble, or you know what I mean? Like it's not real, it's not realistic, it's not how it works. Don't fall for the clickbait. Find that real, okay? Find that real raw stuff, because that's what this is. This will win you games, period. Period. Them boys, peace.